Hey guys, a little over a year ago, I released a Primal guide that was about 20 minutes long. I'm going to try to make it a bit more concise. This is going to be the condensed Primal guide. I'm going to keep it to maybe 5 minutes, maybe less if I get really crazy with it, but let's get right into it. Most of what I know about primaling comes from practicing in this Primal Practice Workshop. Grinding this from hours on end makes me feel more comfortable with the character, and I recommend you do so as well. But my biggest takeaway from doing all this practice is something I like to call the pattern. Entering the pattern at any point is guaranteed to help your primal improve. It goes as follows. First, punch. Second, jump punch. Third, land punch. And fourth, repeat the pattern as many times until they are gone. Let's get into practicalities. The reason the pattern is so good is because you can join it at any time. You can either be right next to your target or far away from them, prepared to jump and catch them. You can join the pattern at any time. It doesn't have to be step one necessarily, but step one makes it simpler because that's when you are right next to someone, and that is when you can also prepare for an optimal primal. That is where you have all the tools, all your abilities ready to go, and it is impossible to mess it up. Most often in your primals, you'll actually be starting on step 2. This is a bit different from starting from step 1 because you will not have your jump ready with you. If you're starting on step 2, which is you're jump punching someone, you need to make sure that you do not immediately punch after in your land punch, as is stated in step 3. A bit complicated, but it gets very simple when we start doing it. Notice how when I get close to the tracer, I don't immediately land punch, but instead I just let the landing damage take place and wait a little bit so that my jump cooldown can come back online. Basically, if we're starting from step 2, jump punching, we're actually kind of cheating and going back to step 1 and waiting until we have our jump cooldown back and basically emulating a situation in which we are next to our target and we have our jump and we have our punch. Let's recap and recontextualize. When we're juggling our target, we're not actually trying to keep them up in the air, we're trying to keep them with us. We're basically kidnapping them and beating them up at the same time. This is why step 1 is the best place to start your primal. It's where you're right next to your target with both your punch and your jump ready to go. It allows you to punch your target away and follow them with the jump. Let's go over some actual ground rules. The pattern is important, but it's not the word of God. You can break out of it. You can do something else with your primal. One of the most important actual ground rules that you basically must follow is that you shouldn't jump unless your target is out of your punch range. Your jump is probably the biggest thing to control your primal. More than stun, more than a discord, the biggest thing that can stop your primal is you jumping out of the range of your own target. That's why the goal is keep your target with you and do not jump unless you have punched them out of your punching range. That's what makes a good primal look so good. This video ended up being a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be, so let's wrap it up. Let's make it a bit simpler. If you are primaling someone away from a wall, you are doing the pattern completely unaltered. Punch, jump punch, land punch. If you have someone up against the wall, that's when the pattern stops and slows down because now they're right next to a wall. You don't need to jump punch anymore. I realize now, towards the end of making this video, that some of the punches I did in this video are actually kind of difficult to pull off. I hope that doesn't dissuade you from becoming better. In fact, I hope it encourages you because some of these primals are truly only possible with an actual mastery of the hitbox of the primal. The only thing I can tell you is that the primal fists work like Rhinehammer. You elongate it and make it higher range and also keep the hitbox where you want it to be, right in front of you, by moving your mouse to the sides of the screen. Getting a good feel for this will make you way more effective at hitting your punches when you want to and when you need to. Let's go over some troubleshooting real quick. A lot of the things you might struggle with during your primal are things that I have mastered and I'm not really thinking about. This part is to help with those. When I'm primaling, I'm often using my W and S keys very interchangeably, tapping the S key to slow my movement. I will never be holding down the S key for a long time unless I'm primaling someone against a wall. On top of this, when I'm primaling someone on long distances, I will hold my spacebar for when I land, allowing myself to b-hop a little bit to get extra distance. You don't always need to do this, holding down the spacebar for when you land, but it's important that you use it when you want to follow your target, and you don't use it when you want to keep your target still and keep yourself still so you can hit your punches more easily. please ask questions in the comments below. Please come over to my stream, twitch.tv/Theomatic, and ask questions there. I love to answer questions about Primal. I don't know how complicated this was. I don't know how digestible it actually was. Maybe it's smarter for me to make a longer video, but we'll see. I hope this was beneficial for you. See you in the stream.